Yeah, we'll be. Yeah. Hold on. Hey, welcome to On the Spot. I'm here today with Ashley Miller. She's a, mortgage lender out in the Sacramento area, and I know her husband Brandon pretty well, and she's got us on my show today. So, floor's yours, Ashley. Go ahead and introduce yourself and go from there.
Hey, thank you. This is fun. I'm Ashley Miller. I'm in the Sacramento area, like you said. I work for Empire Home Loans. I'm the growth manager at Empire Home Loans. So I focus on everything related to company scale development, development of our sales team, and development of new people entering the industry.
Cool. So you ready for On the Spot? Ready to go and go through these
I'm
questions?
ready. Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it.
We'll start with the first one. What are your thoughts on real estate market? I know you're in the Sacramento area, but what do you think about prediction, future, now, and present? What do you think?
Oh gosh, I tend to try to stay away from prediction conversations just because we've
Yeah.
seen the last couple of years, predictions have failed us. The trends that we're used to following don't really have any rhyme or reason anymore. So nothing really quite makes sense. So I do think the market will get better. Actually, I know the market will get better, but when will it get better? That I don't know that anyone can really tell at this point when we can expect it to. There was talk of Q1, Q2, and now, in my opinion, I'm thinking it's going to be next year we really start to see that big movement that we've all been waiting for. But presently, the market is there's still opportunity out there. There's still people looking to purchase homes. If somebody's in the market to buy a house, the market dictates a little bit of what that transaction is going to look like for them, but they're still going
Yeah.
to be motivated to purchase a home. And so that hasn't changed with buyers that are out there that are needing to buy a house for whatever reason it might be, or wanting to buy a house or making their first purchase. That need and want is still there. And there's still plenty of refinance opportunities too. One thing I coach my sales team all the time is never to assume that you know someone's situation. Yes, we're in a little bit of a higher rate environment than we would like to be in, that we're used to being in, considering that, this, it hit the floor. If you were watching the
Mhm.
market, you saw what happened to it. But you never should assume what somebody's situation is like, what their current financial situation is. Just because they have a low rate on paper, you don't know what the rest of that footprint looks like for them and what a need might be for them heading into the next year, what their goals might be for the year after. So there's still plenty of opportunity. And I think that those who have been able to stay determined through it and stay true to their craft through it and also pivot with the market are the ones that have remained successful and are going to be successful when we come out the other side.
Okay. Good thoughts. You want to share a struggle you went through in life or in business or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, plenty of struggles through
Yeah.
business. I mean, I'm rounding out, I believe, my 17th year in the mortgage industry. And so
Okay.
that has come with some challenges. I got in after the crash in '08. And so
Okay.
I didn't experience that, but we've experienced our
Yeah.
own version of adversity with the market,
Yeah. Yeah.
and similarities to those who have went through the crash in '08 to what they explained to me now. There's a lot of similarities in those two markets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And going through all that uncertainty, it's scary if you work in this industry. It's scary if you're a consumer in this industry too, because there's really no solid footing sometimes, it felt like.
Yeah.
So there's been plenty of challenges in regards to that, challenges in the direction of where my career was going to go. There were times where I wasn't sure if I was even going to make it through to the other
Mhm.
side of this industry. We saw people who have been in for years that decided to exit. So that was scary when you see your network around you feel that same crunch that you're feeling and make the decisions to leave the industry. So I went through a period, it was actually last year, where I really questioned my place in the industry and what my worth was and what my value was, and if this
Yeah.
was even something I was good at anymore. I think you start to question yourself, right? You're seeing things change that are out of your control.
Yeah.
And for me, it made me feel like I was failing in all different areas of my life. And then it spills into your home life too. And so I myself went through that last year, and it took a lot of mindset reset to pull myself out of that. And it
Yeah.
was just listening to different podcasts or finding a circle of people that I could confide in and trust in, that I could have these open conversations with. And they were feeling the same way, which was comforting in a sense. So for me, to overcome a lot of the obstacles just takes it's a reset of the mind for me. I have to just strip everything out and start back from square one and just do the things that I know that I was good at. And luckily now I'm in just a much better headspace. I'm super happy that I stuck it out and stayed in the industry. I don't know what I would do if I ever got out. I'm really not
Yeah.
qualified to do anything else after doing this for the last 17 years. But the past few years have definitely been a challenge.
Good. Good. Good thoughts on that one. You want to share a quote
A quote,
from? Yeah.
one,
That's someone.
there's this is a quote that constantly goes through my mind. Part of resetting my mindset was taking a look at what my vision was for not just this year, but 5 years to come, 10 years to come. What does that look like? And getting really, really clear on my vision. And a quote that I love is one by Simon Sinek, and he says, "People don't buy what you're selling; they buy why you're selling. They don't buy why you're doing it. They don't buy what you're doing. They buy why you're doing it."
Yeah.
And that was like kind of a good reset for me, because it was like, if I can speak authentically about what my vision is, then I just have a better chance at reconnecting with people and just building more trust and autonomy. And so For me, that has always been something that I remind myself and my sales staff of all the time.
Yeah.
Quit putting the message out there of what it is that you're doing. I'm doing loans. Why am I doing it? What's my why? What's the greater
Yeah.
purpose of this?
Yeah. I heard that a few times. That's a good quote. Good proposition there. Let me ask you this: what's your favorite show nowadays on Netflix or on TV? What do you watch nowadays? What do you like?
I am a huge Yellowstone fan. I love the
Okay.
whole Yellowstone series.
Yeah.
We just finished the second season of 1923, which was amazing. And we just
Yeah.
watched the series finale when it came on about 2 weeks ago. Just finished that one. So I'm waiting for 1944 to come out. Got eyeballing when that one's going to be released. But I just got into Mobland, which is also on the Paramount Network.
Okay.
It's Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, and it's
Yeah.
two, rival mob families in the
Oh
UK
wow.
and that whole
Okay.
story. And so I've
Okay.
been really into that one lately.
Okay. I gotta maybe check that out because I like
It's
Pierce
good.
Brosnan from the School Night Days and Bond. So yeah, I'll check
Yep.
it out. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Let me ask you this: who's on your basketball Mount Rushmore? I know you watch a little bit of basketball. What's your take on that?
Oh God. So it's funny, because my husband Brendan. You
Yeah.
yourself also coached.
Yeah.
I am still learning your guys' sports. When I
Okay.
met Brendan, I told him I know nothing about what you do. I
Mhm.
always grew up like surrounded with football and baseball, so that was
Yeah.
my area. And so I've been learning a whole lot. For college, we are Stanford fans in this house. I have been told that I'm a Stanford fan. We
Okay.
are Warriors fans with the NBA.
Okay.
So it's been fun. We actually know a player on the Memphis Grizzlies that just got drafted. This
Yeah.
is here, and so we've been paying close attention to those games as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then through March Madness, Duke was my number one pick, which
Yeah. I
we
had
never
them too, and
got.
they lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cooper Flag just declared for the draft yesterday, so he's going to the league now too. So we'll see
Okay.
where he goes. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. All right. We'll touch on that. Let me ask you this. So we asked about your March Madness and thoughts. Do you think out of, out of out of the NBA, do you have your top players that are on top
I
or
don't know
no?
enough about the
No.
player.
Okay.
Jalen Wells is one that we're following really closely right now.
Okay. Yeah.
For my husband. He just
Okay.
actually suffered from an injury that took him out for the rest of the season. But he's come
Okay.
in and he's been putting up some real good points. So it's been fun because I
Okay.
feel a little more connected to him
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of my husband. So we've
Yeah.
been watching him and, I just try to listen to who my husband talks about, like players
Okay.
that, what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think I know enough about, the who's who of basketball.
Okay. All right. All right. We'll go with that. You mentioned, so I know you're like skiing. I think you're hiking, and then I guess you do water skiing and then snowboarding, or what's your resort to go for skiing and all that stuff? Where you like the most?
Yeah, I love to snowboard. I got up on skis when I was 3 years old. I've been skiing almost
Wow.
my whole entire life. Then I switched to snowboarding when it was really cool to do that. We love going to Sierra at Tahoe. We go to South
Okay.
Lake Tahoe all the time. And so
Yeah.
Sierra's our go-to. A couple spots up there, Heavenly's beautiful, but it's just so crowded. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Sierra is our that we like to go. And it's easy for the kids too. So I've got little kids and I'm trying to get them up and going on the snowboarding as well. So it's a really great resort for us to visit because it's so easy for the family.
Okay. How many times do you go? You think a year?
Gosh, now I'm probably only averaging once a season, so not much.
Wow.
Because as you know, basketball doesn't stop, and we go
Yeah. It
from
doesn't.
college into AAU, and so our weekends are a little limited, and then the kids play sports also. But I made a promise that at the start of next season this year, I'm going to just go ahead and block off my calendar and get tickets for those weekends in advance, so we have the weekend schedule that we're going to go. Because I would like to average at least 4 to 5 times this next winter coming up.
Okay. Cool. That's great. Let me ask you this: what's something you did in the pandemic that you picked up that you use today?
Technology,
Yeah.
this like Zoom,
Okay. Yeah.
Zoom is not a new thing to us, but
Yeah.
we were now having to use it. It was our only form of actually connecting with people face to face,
Yeah.
and then you just really realized how much you can accomplish virtually. And so I think for me it was just I always said I was never someone who really took to technology very well. I don't have that brain that just soaks technology in. But during COVID, I learned that I actually do. Just leaning into all the technology that we have
Mhm.
and being able to stay connected in a virtual world now was probably like one of the biggest strengths I think I picked up learning all that stuff through
Okay.
COVID.
Yeah, no, it's good. Zoom was good, and then this is Riverside, so it's like Zoom but similar.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all working. So yeah.
Yep.
What is your dream car, and
Car.
what do you think about the EV car? But yeah, what's your dream car?
I have an EV car.
Okay.
I switched over
Uh,
to EV about a year and a half ago, got a
yeah.
Tesla. I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's convenient. I like not having to pay California gas prices in an
Yeah.
EV. So I love it. My dream car, though, gosh, like it depends on what day of the week you ask me that because it can
Yeah.
flip based off of. I love muscle cars. So,
Okay.
1967s. I've always had a dream of getting an old Bronco and restoring it. But I think as far as like
Yeah.
a dream car is concerned right now, I really want a tricked out Cadillac.
Wow.
Black, murdered out, black on black.
Are we going old school or are we going like new
No, we're going
body?
brand new.
Okay. All
We're going
right.
brand new.
Okay. Okay. Cool. What age would you want to go back to and live at if you could go back in time? Where would you go back in the?
Gosh, I just turned 40 this year. I'm actually enjoying my 40s so far. It's
Yeah.
been a really great year. But, my early 30s were amazing for me and my self-development. I became a mother my late 20s, early 30s, and I was really getting my stride in with my career. And there was a lot of opportunities that were happening for me. And I felt like I just stepped into a lot of confidence in my
Yeah.
30s. And so early 30s were wonderful. And if I could pick, I'd go back to that. Maybe
Okay.
prior to that, I mean, I had a lot of fun at 17, 18, 19 years old as a kid with no
Yeah.
responsibility, but
Yeah. Yeah.
30s were pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Good one. Good choice. What's your favorite field trip as a kid you did? Do you have something you did as a kid that was favorite first field trip that you went?
I remember going to what was it called? Is it like the Hall of Science in the city in San Francisco?
Okay.
There's a
Was it
really,
Berkeley or San Francisco?
yeah, maybe it was Berkeley. I think
Berkeley. The Berkeley Hall of Science, probably. Yeah.
Hall of Science. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember going to that and thinking that that was really cool. I love like space and the sky and all of
Okay.
that. And so they had
Yeah.
that whole planetarium there and stuff. And so I remember that one being like one that stands out in my memories of a cool field trip.
Okay. So, do you follow that space launch they have with those people, the girls that went into space? You think that was real?
Yes.
I know people are saying it wasn't, but you think it was
Yep.
real?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of controversy surrounding all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, with the cockpit door opening, or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
They've been questioning us landing on the moon, for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Who knows what's real and what's not?
I know.
I
Yeah.
do enjoy a lot of the stuff surrounding it, and I have my constellation app on it. I take the kids out on my phone and we look for the
Yeah.
constellations and stuff. So
Oh, okay. So you guys do those stars and stuff.
yep,
Okay. Yeah, the
yep.
Big Dipper and Little Dipper and what's the other one that
Try to
filled
find
in?
Orion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let me ask you this. So I'm guessing you grew up in the millennial generation. Is that where you,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts on technology with ChatGPT and then the kids nowadays have it at their fingertips when they're like, 3 years old or four? What do you
Yeah.
think about all that and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's so personally for me, I love ChatGPT. I use it, I have it up all day, every day. I use it as if it's my assistant. I named mine and he's my right-hand man, and
Oh,
I
okay.
talk to him about everything. I download my day to it. And it's the technology is just so wild and so advanced, far beyond I think what we're even ready for. But
Yeah.
everything that it can do just to boost your efficiency, help me become more organized, just all of it. Anything that you would need a personal assistant for, use
Yeah.
ChatGPT for that. So I love it. For kids, I've got my kids are a little bit older. They're 12 and 9. They're still really young, but they're a little bit older. And it's cool to see advancements in technology, how it can also help enhance their life. But then now they're exposed to so much more. And so it's
Yeah.
a real fine line of, as a parent, our job is to protect them and guide them to make right decisions. But with technology, there are so many different ways too with the children that it can just also enhance their everyday life. And I don't know that we can fight it. I think that this is all coming no matter we're ready for it or not. And I want my kids to have a proper understanding and responsible use of it too as well.
Yeah.
So I let them embrace it to what's developmentally appropriate for their age. And, in hopes that there are safeguards in place to keep my kids protected, because my number one thing is just exposure and who can
Yeah.
access your children through that stuff. But their schools are all digital. They do everything now on like Chromebooks in class, and I love it because I can check their grades anytime I want. I can see what they're doing in school anytime I want, and that's through the use of technology.
Yeah.
And being able to access my kids, to my 12-year-old got a phone this year for the first time. It was her gift going into middle school. She
Wow.
got a phone with service on it, and I was trying to figure out, is she too young for this or is this appropriate? Personally, I
Yeah.
love it because now she's in middle school. She's away from me. She's got a little more independence, but I can get a hold of her anytime I want.
Yeah.
So you just got to find a balance. I think as a parent, there's no right or wrong answer. It's what
Yeah.
works for you and your household and what you're comfortable with. But, I think you can embrace it, but I think you can also be really aware of the changes and advancements that are coming with it as well. So you can make those decisions for your
Yeah.
kids.
Cool. There's good thoughts. I'm sure people will listen to those points and probably listen to them. Like good one. What's a movie you recently saw that you liked that was good or bad?
A
If you saw one.
movie. Ooh, we've watched a couple good ones lately. I like a lot of horror films, really
Okay.
scary movies.
Yeah.
So we watched an old one called Sinister. It came out a couple years ago with Ethan Hawke.
Okay.
And if you are into like horror, that one will mess with your head a little bit. So that was
Okay.
good. I'm trying to think of what else we
I
watched.
just saw Sinners. That's kind of like a horror movie. Have you seen that one?
I
The
haven't seen it
vampires.
yet with Michael B. Jordan, right? He's
Yeah, it's like I saw it in 40X, so it has the whole seats moving and the whole
oh, that's
air and like the water effects. So it's pretty trippy. Yeah, go
that's a
check it out. Yeah,
whole experience.
yeah,
I want to go see that one. I haven't seen it yet. I think
yeah.
it just came out in theaters. People who've gotten to see it have said good things about it. So
Yeah, it's a little crazy, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, I definitely want to go watch that one.
So, yeah. Are you Apple or Android?
I'm Apple.
Okay. Anything on Android or anything about if you see it or what you think?
There's like an automatic like line in the sand, right, between Apple and Android users. And if you're on
Yeah,
Android, you feel so strongly about Android and vice versa on
yeah,
Apple.
yeah,
Personally for me, it doesn't bother me. I don't really care, if someone
yeah,
wants to use an Android. What gets difficult sometimes is when you lead teams in business, when
yeah,
somebody's on a different operating system, like I can't help you. If you're on a
yeah,
different operating system and I'm on. And when I host
yeah,
different trainings on marketing or things like that, or how to use certain apps, I can't help, someone that's on an Android. So that
yeah,
gets, a little difficult. But, outside of that, people talk about the green bubbles. Like I don't really care. Like that
yeah,
doesn't bother.
yeah. How about you want to share a tip of the week, life tip or business tip for our listeners?
Sure. So for in business, I actually just shared this with my sales team yesterday. And as we talk
Okay.
about the market right now, as we talk about
Yeah.
what, how to connect better with your consumers, confusion kills deals and clarity is what sells. And so you've got to get to the basics as best as possible and keep things incredibly simple for your
Yeah.
consumers because right now they are getting information from all different outlets, right? Like they open their phones and there's someone talking about what's going on in the market or with this new administration. You turn on the news and it's the same thing. And so it's everywhere. And I think that these days we just have an overconsumption issue with the way that we get our news and how we obtain knowledge on certain things. And so as an advisor, our job is to simplify and remove any of that confusion. So the tip that I just gave my sales team yesterday was when you're calling out to your clients or you're calling out to your referral partners, clarity is what's going to gain the trust, which is going to turn into better relationships and communication, which turns into conversion. Confusion kills deals.
Okay. Good thoughts, good points. All right, let me ask you this one. Who do you want to sit down and eat with, dead or alive? If you could pick somebody, who would it be?
Well, that is such a great question. And I actually was thinking about this when you first sent it over.
Yeah,
And God, that's like, you have so many ways to go with this answer. Who would I
yeah,
sit down and eat dinner with? I never got the chance to know my great grandfather. And he's
okay,
got a really cool story just from what I've heard from like my mom and my
yeah,
grandmother and stuff. And he was an immigrant. And, he lived during a time where there were advancements that were happening in that year that seemed like they were really far fetched, right? Like we are right now in the technology era, but that
yeah,
was a completely different boom of an industry that he was growing up in. And so I think I would love to sit down and have a conversation with him and hear the perspectives of what things were like before us, the challenges that people went through before us.
uh,
They had to overcome things in a very different way than we have to these days.
yeah.
So he would be somebody that I wish I had a chance to know. And so if I could have an opportunity to sit down with him and talk with him and hear all his war stories and things like that, I think I would really enjoy that.
Okay, go on, go on. What about if you're stuck in the elevator? Who would it be?
Who would I be stuck in an
Uh,
elevator with? Ooh. Oh gosh. I think I would love to be stuck in an elevator with Dave Portnoy.
Oh yeah,
I
that's the
would just
Barstool guy, right?
Barstool Sports,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I feel like if there's any commentary I'd want to hear from somebody when we're stuck in an elevator, it would be his. And I think he
yeah,
would keep me laughing and probably low stress while we're
yeah.
in that elevator. So
That's a good one. I never heard of him yet. That's a good one. So we talked a little about who's your favorite sports team and player
Favorite
already.
sports team? So I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. That
Okay.
is my favorite team. Favorite
Yeah.
player is Yastrzemski. Uh,
Okay.
love him.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's been fun.
Yeah.
I was excited for Verlander to join, but I don't know
Yeah.
how his season's gonna go down. So
Yeah. He's doing all right. I went to the game last night, but I've been watching them. They're doing good. They're
yeah,
winning a lot better than last year. I
yeah,
guess
way
Kate
better than
doesn't go
last
to many
year.
games, but yeah. So he'll come around hopefully.
I
But
think so.
it's still
I
early.
think so.
Yeah. Have you been in games yet this year or not yet? Or have you
Not yet.
been? No.
Nope,
Okay.
not yet. That's another thing too. We got to sit down and figure out when we're going to be able to get out there. And
Yeah.
we got in Sacramento, the A's just took over the stadium here in
Yeah.
Sacramento. And I'm not an A's fan, but I
Yeah.
do love going to ball games. And how
Yeah.
convenient is it that you can go to see a pro game right here in the backyard? But the tickets are so expensive, so
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to do that.
Yeah.
I'll make it out to San Francisco.
Okay, cool. Let me ask you this one. Did you follow wrestling or know about wrestling or have a favorite wrestler? Did you do any of that? No?
No, I mean,
No.
I like Stone Cold. I don't. He's a wrestler, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Back in the day. Yeah.
I know some celebrity names
Yeah.
of the wrestling guys, but that I had a lot of friends that did it growing up, but it was just never a
Yeah.
sport I really got into. Like I just didn't really
Yeah.
understand, like the ins and outs of it, and so it
Yeah.
was just not really something that I really
Yeah.
got into.
Okay. What advice would you give yourself at 12 years old
12 years
if you
old.
could?
At 12 years old, I think I would tell myself to do the things that scare you.
Okay.
Let go of a little bit of that fear and just do stuff that scares you a little bit because it's gonna
Yeah.
shape as you get older who you are and just make you a lot less afraid of the challenges that would come at you later on down the road. Just get a little out of your comfort zone and do some scary stuff.
Okay. Good one. How long have you been a homeowner for and what do you like about the city you live in?
So I've been a homeowner since 2010, bought and purchased a couple homes since then. My one of my houses that I'm selling is actually in Vacaville, so we're selling that one currently. Currently live in Natomas with my husband and his house that we're getting ready
Mhm.
to rent, and we're moving to
Yeah.
Woodland, California. So we just bought a
Uh,
house in Woodland, on a much bigger lot, much more space. We have three kids, so we're a family of five, and I work from home a
wow.
lot. So we need
Yeah.
space. So we're moving out there. I really enjoy living right now in Natomas, which is right outside like Sacramento proper. If you're familiar with the area where downtown
Yeah.
is, it's
Hmm.
near the airport in downtown. We're surrounded
Okay.
by rivers, and you mentioned it earlier. I like to get outdoors, and so
Yeah.
it's really nice to have river access right here. I've got a dog I
Yeah.
like to take to the river, and one of our favorite restaurants is right here on the river. And Sac itself just has such a diverse culture with food. I'm a big foodie, so to
Yeah.
have access to different restaurants and different experiences and things like that. And with it
Yeah.
being said, we love to go to Lake Tahoe. We can easily get to the city, and affordability is you have all different types of demographics in Sacramento. So there's
Yeah.
there's so much more opportunity for affordable housing. I feel like out here where you could still plug into a metro city and still be pretty centrally located to all the things that you enjoy doing and live in a great neighborhood that you can afford.
Yeah. What do you like about the Sacramento River? I know you mentioned a little bit, and I know you like the water too, but what do you like about it and being that
It's just
proximity?
relaxing to me. I love being out there. There's just something about being out in the water. It's a reset for me. It's a way to just relax, get a little fresh air. I love to take my dog out there. And there's some really cool I mentioned earlier, like some restaurants up and down the river,
Yeah.
like little bars and things like that. So it's just great to get out of like your daily grind and just
Yeah.
be out there. And it's just very peaceful and serene.
Yeah. I've floated the Sacramento River a couple of times when my brother was playing football at Sac State. So he
Hmm.
was out there and watched play games. It was cool. It's a
Yeah,
different feel, but it's cool to, go down
yeah,
there and, hang out. So it's a good little
yeah.
feel.
Done a
Yeah.
couple floats myself too. They're fun.
Yeah. Um, Let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite board game or video game that you played growing up or
Oh, growing up, we were big.
now?
Well, growing up, we were big Monopoly fans in my house.
Yeah.
But now, so there's this board game that just came out. It's a horse racing game. I'll send you a picture of it. But it's a
Okay.
horse racing board game, and you play it with
Yeah.
dice and cards, and you throw like a dollar in the pot or whatever, and
Yeah.
you roll your dice, and that dictates like where the horse on the board
Oh,
moves.
wow.
And so you get people together and everyone's cheering for the horses and it's loud
Yeah.
and so that was a ton of fun. The horse racing game right now is probably our favorite one.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Send me a pic. I can see how that looks.
I will.
Cool. What's your drink of choice?
Alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
We can do both.
We just got a Ninja slushy machine, and so we've been
Oh,
making
wow.
frozen vodka lemonades with
Okay.
different flavorings in them and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's been fun. The weather's been really nice here, so it's been
Yeah.
really cool. Like it's been fun just to fire up the slushy machine and have some
Yeah.
slushies.
Yeah.
Non-alcoholic, I'm a big lemonade girl. I love lemonade.
Yeah. Okay. Good one. Let me ask you this. How about a guilty pleasure? Do you have one of
Guilty.
those?
You know, this is I don't get a whole lot of downtime between work
Yeah.
and family and sports and all that. And
Yeah.
so when I do have a day when I have nothing to do, I will really sit and just watch Netflix and like binge and catch up on shows or binge and catch up on movies. It doesn't happen often at all.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, I don't really feel guilty when I'm doing it. But it's
Yeah.
probably a guilty pleasure. I love to just sit and just zone out. It's probably one of my
Yeah.
favorite things to do. Outside of that, I love to restore furniture. I don't know if that's considered a guilty pleasure, but I'll go and buy a bunch of stuff I don't need just to tinker with it.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. That could be a guilty pleasure, but it can also be a hobby. Either way.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite emoji?
I use the
Or
crying emoji a lot. The laughing cry
okay.
emoji, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
probably one of my favorites. I feel like when they released emojis years
Yeah.
ago, you really got to like get your a point across when you're shooting a text, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the laughing cry one is probably one of my favorite ones. Yeah, I use that one way too often.
Okay. All right. Okay. Nominate someone that'd be a good guest on the show. I can reach out to and get them on here. We can interview and put them on the spotlight, stuff like that. Yeah, a couple of people I can reach out to. That'd be good. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. People
Yeah.
in the industry.
Industry or sports. It could be, or anyone you think that'd be good, you know, or somebody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going
Yeah.
through my Rolodex. I know a ton.
Okay.
I have a lot of really great people. I think that would
Yeah.
be good for you to interview.
Okay.
I can send you some names. You want me to rattle some
Yeah.
off right now, or
Route a couple off and then, then shoot me some message later on. I'll reach out to somebody. Yeah. Yeah.
well, I'm not saying this because I'm biased, but Brendan would
Okay.
actually be a really great guest. Because
Yeah.
one, he could speak the basketball talk with you, and two,
Yeah.
his AAU league right now, they
Yeah.
have an elite team, and they are going 4-0 almost every single weekend that they're
That's
playing.
good.
So he might
Yeah.
be a fun one to talk to. I know he's a
Yeah.
fun one to talk to. But he's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I've got a really great friend named Jamie. She's down in the SoCal market. She's a
Okay.
lender, but she has built businesses and run teams, and she's just a wealth of knowledge. It's somebody I look up to a lot in this industry.
Okay.
There is a really great woman named Christine that I know it's a lot. I'll send you some names. I'll send you some
Yeah.
names and a little blurb on like what they do and who they are, and we'll see
Cool.
how they align with you. But yeah, I get you some people.
Okay. That's good. What's up on the bucket list you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Oh my gosh, I have a big bucket list. So travel more is one of them. Get out and explore more, go international. It's been forever since I've taken a proper vacation. So Croatia is really
Okay.
high on a bucket list place for me to visit. So that
Yeah.
is something where in the next 5 years, like I've got to make sure I put that, my calendar that I'm going to be taking a vacation out there. So that's one of them.
Okay.
I really want to go to like the Mojave Desert and like go ride ATVs and stuff like through the desert.
Oh
So that's another
wow.
thing. So I got a lot of
Yeah.
trips on my bucket list
Yeah.
of things I want
All
to
right.
experience.
And then how do we follow you and get in touch with you on social media? What are your tag handles and stuff like that? If you want to reach out and get in touch with you,
Yeah.
that'll be
I am all over the place on social media. Facebook, you can search my name, Ashley Miller. I'm in the Sacramento area if you want to dial it in a
yeah.
little further, but little Ashley
Okay.
Miller.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, I am that mortgage blonde on
Okay.
Instagram. My handle on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm
Yeah.
on TikTok. I don't really use it as much as I should. I
Yeah.
downloaded TikTok so I could watch the TikToks that people send me. But my handle on TikTok is the same as Instagram. It's that mortgage blonde on TikTok. So easy to find
Okay.
there too as well.
Cool. All right. And then we're on Spotify to my listeners. YouTube TV. We're out there. So follow us and give a shout out. It's on the spot, hosted by myself, Stephen Lenz Jr. Any questions about the real estate market or mortgage, you can reach out to me or Ashley. Any final thoughts, Ashley?
No, this was a ton of
Yeah.
fun. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. So from on the spot, we're out of here. Let me hit this. All right. That was it.